Michael Shacker sending out his respects to James Vanderbeek, who passed away today. A little Dawson's Creek action here. And I think this is why Shacker should get paid the big bucks as a DJ, because he connects songs in ways he doesn't even know that he did. Because I'm pretty sure the Blazers couldn't wait for this game to be over as the Minnesota Timberwolves absolutely run them out of their gym tonight, mainly because the Blazers struggled mightily to hold on to the basketball. Final score in Minnesota Timberwolves 133, your Portland Trailblazers 109. Welcome into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you'd like to join the conversation with us here tonight, you can head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio. We'll be right there. Join the chat. You can send us a text message at 88528, or of course, pick up that phone and dial 503-248-0620 to get on the phone lines and get on air with me live as we break down this game. And through this entire game, you just never felt like the Blazers were going to get into it. It was one of those situations where the turnovers were just absolutely killing any chance of momentum at any point during that game, especially in that third quarter. You did get a run late in the third quarter where you started to feel like maybe you'll get into it, but the Timberwolves answered every single run that the Blazers had with a run of their own and just said, okay, guess what? We're just going to go ham on you. We're going to go crazy. Julius Randle had a stellar game. A stellar game. In fact, Julius Randle went off tonight for 41 points. Now, if you go back to the season opener, the last time the Blazers played the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards went off for 41 points. That means in 2 games against the Timberwolves, their leading scorers have combined for 82 points against the Trailblazers. That's just 2 guys. Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, 41 points each time they played the Blazers so far. So that was rough. And then, of course, that turnover was terrible. 26 turnovers for the Trailblazers. And even more worrisome than the turnovers was the fact how quickly Minnesota was able to turn them into points. In fact, Minnesota had 43 points off of turnovers. 43. That is a 27-point differential because Portland only had 16 points off of 15 Minnesota turnovers. When you lose that battle right there, 27 points just in points off turnovers? Sorry, my friends. You're in for a rough one. You're in for a absolutely rough one. Just like the Blazers were tonight, 133-109. Taking a look at the individual box scores, we'll start with Minnesota. Jaden McDaniels had 21 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 41 points, as we mentioned, for Julius Randle. He had 7 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 14 of 24 from the field, 10 of 11 from the free throw line, 17 points from Rudy Gobert. Anthony Edwards had 14 points. He was almost a late scratch. He was a little under the weather, but he ended up getting the nod to go play, and they didn't need him to go crazy because Julius Randle was doing that. 3 points from Dante DiVincenzo and Oyo Dosunmu. It's a fun one that I will butcher every time I say it. Everyone has like the one words they can't say. Dosunmu. I think I got it that time. 12 points. He is recently acquired in their trade deadline trade with Chicago, so he's fitting in real well. Naz Reid had 11. Looking at the Trailblazers, Toumani Camara, 9 points. Didn't score like he did just 2 nights ago, but he was still efficient, 3 of 5 from the floor. You would have liked to get him just a little bit more involved, but as we mentioned, it was just a rough night overall for finding any semblance of just any cohesion, just any, like, okay, the train's moving forward, everybody hop on board, choo-choo, none of that. it was just stopped at the gate the entire time. So it was hard for anyone to get in a rhythm. Jeremy Grant, 4 of 11. He had 10 points. Donovan Clingan, 8 points and 9 rebounds. 23 points from Drew Holiday, 11 from Denny Avdia to go along with 5 rebounds and 3 assists. So a rare off night for Denny. He was 3 of 14 from the field, 0 of 7 from beyond the arc. 4 points from Blake Wesley. Vit Krejci did have a decent game, though, 17 points. And Scoot Henderson off the bench, 18 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds. Solid scoring performance. Still would have liked him to get the ball moving around a little bit more, but at the same time, with the way the defense was playing, the way the ball was being turned over, with the way that they were closing every lane, getting that done in this game where everyone just felt a little off was easier said than done. But at least he was scoring the ball well. Looked like he's starting to feel a little bit more like himself. I mean, this is only the third game back, third game this year, actually. So yeah, I think it's still going to take some time to shake off the rust, but he's looking pretty good. This game just came down to TOs, turnovers, plain and simple. That's what did you in this one. You couldn't hold on to the ball. That led to easy buckets for Minnesota. And when Denny's having an off night and you're not getting into the rim like you hope you could get to the rim and everything's kind of working against you there, you also don't get to the free throw line. On the other side of that, Minnesota did. They went to the free throw line 35 times. Portland went to the free throw line just 16. Now, Minnesota made 29 free throws to 13 that the Blazers made. That right there, again, a 16-point difference. You had the 16-point difference there, plus the 27-point difference in points off turnovers, and you get a 43-point gap right there in free buckets and free possessions. A recipe for disaster, and it was a disaster for your Trailblazers. Taking a look at the chat real quick. Sean says, it felt like Randall had 60 points. I was surprised it was only 41. No, it was pretty darn good from him. He was smooth with it, couldn't be stopped. That windmill dunk was kind of funny. Even Lamar Hurd, I didn't know he had that in his bag. I just didn't expect that, which was kind of funny. And then, yeah, that's just, what are you going to do? But when I've said this to you guys before, sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. Today they were the bug. They went splat hardcore. Get back on the plane though and get to go to Utah, try to get a victory tomorrow. That's what you got to do. Taking a look at the chat, we got breaking news. Clingan goes up against another legit center and can't compete. Plus, lazy turnovers continue. Have you noticed Drew has trouble bending down to gather the basketball, leading to bad turnovers? I don't think it's necessarily I mean, it could be to your point. I mean, we're dealing with the lower leg injuries, all those things intertwined. That could be part of it. Part of it is just because he plays a little bit of a slower game. That could lead to it. Various reasons. I get what you're laying down. I think everyone's seen that. The Donovan Clingan thing is interesting. And I'm not going to dog Donovan Clingan for a bad game against a guy like Rudy Gobert. 8 points, 9 rebounds, which the 9 rebounds were still the most rebounds by a single player in this game. So it's not as if he was playing terribly there. Offensively, he does struggle against those bigs, and he can struggle to get back and defend them as well. That's why Rudy Gobert, 5 of 7 from the field. He had 17 points. We've seen that now for a minute. We saw Jared Allen go off and have a good game. It would have been interesting had Joel Embiid played in that game when Philadelphia was in town, because you would have seen him go up against another great center. Those are the things that, with Donovan Clingan, you're going to continue to get better at as you grow. It's hard, or it's easy to forget that Donovan Clingan is in his first season starting and first season getting this big run. Last year, it was, remember, 12, 15 points or 12, 15 minutes a game. His cardio's bad. DeAndre Ayton's starting. You got into situations where Robert Williams is in too for, the handful of games he played, and who's your third center. Like, now you're getting it. No, he's your starting center. He's getting these big minutes. That's going to be fine as he continues to progress. If you're getting this from a year 2 center who's in year 1 as a starter, I'm not worried about that at all. He'll get better. He'll get better. John says Drew's defensive prowess is behind him. Here's the thing with Drew Holiday real quick. Drew Holiday's defense, by Drew Holiday's standards, has definitely dipped. Drew Holiday in 2026 is not Drew Holiday of 2022 or 2021, but he had like 4 straight years of making an all defensive team. There was a time in place. I mean, when he was with New Orleans, probably the best defensive guard in the game in his absolute prime. The thing is, he is still a good defender. I understand that he's not living up to the Drew Holiday defense that it kind of came touted with him, but he's still a good defender. There's things about him that I love, and I believe players can learn from. And one of the things is his hips. Watch his lower body. He totally stays in front of a defender, and all his movement comes from below the hips. There, that way, when a guy tries to get behind him, he can keep that upper body in front of him. And I love that. Does he get blown by? Is the speed not there? Sure. But watch how Shaedon Sharpe plays defense. Shaedon Sharpe opens his legs up. He does what I call a drop step, like you would do in the outfield if you're a baseball player. Guy hits that ball, your first step is that step backwards where you open up the hips, your upper body goes with you, and it allows you to get back into a sprint and cover a lot of space and get to the fly balls. Really, really great for getting out in space and getting to a pop-up. Not really great for staying in front of a defender in the NBA. So the foundation that Drew Holiday has is absolutely there. And his defense is still good. It's just not the defense that it was 4 or 5 seasons ago. And I think that's to be expected. I absolutely think that's to be expected. I do think missing so much time with the calf strain too definitely takes a minute to get through, just because the way those legs can be, especially when you are on the back end of the 30s. I should know. I'm older than Drew Holiday, and that is painful to say out loud. I feel young. I do. But I'm 4 years older than Drew Holiday, and he's been in the NBA for 17 seasons. That's a lot of wear and tear on those legs, and it really makes me wonder why I couldn't have been an NBA star. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not 6 feet tall. I am like 5'7" on a good day. All right, this is the 5th quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. Shout out to Alex. That's his real name in the chat, talking about the studio. It's beautiful. My spam can decoration. That's right. I got some spam wind chimes too. I haven't set them up. You got to love it. It's my thing. Spam is awesome, especially when you wrap it in some seaweed with a little bit of rice. Spam musubi. Mwah! That tastes good. You know what doesn't taste good? The taste that you have in your mouth when you leave Minnesota after a big tail whooping like the Blazers had in this one, 133-109. We're going to take a quick break here on the 5th quarter. When we come back, we're going to hit you with our drive of the night, shot of the night. Still have Coach's Corner to get to, as well as handing out a game ball. When we come back to, we're going to focus on this Utah game and give you a little bit of a prediction of what I think we can expect post All-Star break, because I think things will get a lot better for your Portland Trailblazers. We'll let you know here after the break on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Testing. Okay. We're in a commercial break, but I did see this question from Jackson. Wanted to weigh in on it real quick. The thoughts on the recent column about the Blazers being good is gone. I don't think that's the case. I don't think the Blazers move. I really don't. I think there's a lot that is in Portland's favor. This whole idea of going to the state to talk to them and get the information and try to get money. Any owner would have done that. And it would, and you could argue, why didn't Jody do it? Well, it'd be hard to get the state on your side when they know that you have to sell no matter what, whether they give you the money or not. Now, and the new owner comes in, any new owner would do that. You go through the list of any time teams have changed ownership, that just happens. A lot of them get what they want. Washington, Philly, go down the list. Obviously, Sacramento, Golden State, Milwaukee, all these teams. It was either, I want renovations or a new stadium or we're gone. They all got a new stadium or renovations. I just don't think that the Blazers leave. I think there's 4 teams in the league I would probably say never have a 0% chance of ever leaving. Lakers, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Other than that, I think there's 2 teams that might actually be considered for relocation at some point. I think that's Memphis. I think that's New Orleans. And a lot of like New Orleans stadium situations, terrible how bad that stadium is. Portland, Moda Center is not bad. No, Moda Center is dated. Moda Center needs help. It's still an NBA arena and a viable one at that. But the thing is, all these other stadiums are getting updated. And when all those stadiums start to get updated, then it really starts to leave Moda behind. Wells Fargo Center was built around the same time that got updated. Talking Stick Resort Arena, which is what I still call it. I can't remember because it's changed its name. Footprint Center or whatever it is in Phoenix. That one just got renovated. Utah did a full gut, got renovated, and then did another renovation for hockey. Portland does need that. I just do not think they leave. I don't think these NBA owners approve a move if there was relocation orders. And I do believe Seattle gets a basketball team, but it's via expansion. That just makes the most sense. The NBA does not want to move its presence in the Pacific Northwest. It wants to expand its presence in the Pacific Northwest. So thank you for the question. Hope that answers it. That's at least my thoughts. We'll be back on radio here in just a few seconds.
Rip City Radio.
Pass ahead to Krejci. He drives, dumps it off to Hansen, but it's taken away by Clark. Another turnover. Randall the drive, the windmill jam with the left hand. It was impressive. He's got 41.
Welcome back in to the 5th quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. We're breaking down this tough loss for your Portland Trailblazers as they went into Minnesota and they lost pretty handily, my friends. It was a 133-109 defeat, and the turnovers are what did this team in tonight. 26 turnovers, which resulted in 43 points off turnovers for Minnesota, which was 27 more points off turnovers than Portland was able to get off Minnesota turnovers. Also the free throw discrepancy where Minnesota made 16 more free throws. That just adds up to a rough night for your Portland Trailblazers. Hopefully they get a chance to rebound, get back in to the flow of things tomorrow with their last pre-All-Star break game, this one against the Utah Jazz. And I want to look at not only that game, but realistically what I can expect for the Trailblazers the rest of the way. We have talked a lot about the second half schedule getting a lot easier. And that is true. Absolutely, it's true. You look at what remains on this schedule. They got games against Chicago, Charlotte, Atlanta. Those are teams that are struggling out east. They're not great. They've been up and down, but Chicago currently 11th. Atlanta is 10th. Charlotte is 9th. So those are winnable games. You also have Indiana on the schedule twice, Brooklyn on the schedule twice. You have Washington coming up. Those are the 3 worst teams in the Eastern Conference. So the wins are going to be there. I think the next hardest stretch of the season is like the first 6-ish games out of the All-Star break, where I feel like you're probably going to go about 500 if you're the Blazers. Just realistically, let's look at this for a second. I have a game against Utah tomorrow. I have them winning that game. At least they should on paper, right? They win that game. They come back from break. They have Denver. I think that's a tough one. Let's say it's an L. Then they have Phoenix. I think that's a tough one. Let's just say that's a loss. Then they have Minnesota. That's a tough one. You just saw that play out. Let's say that's a loss. loss. So over their next 4 games, they're 1-3. Oh no, the sky is falling. The play-in is done. Not so fast, my friends, because after that they have Chicago. I feel like that's a win. They have Charlotte. That's a winnable game. They have Atlanta. That's a winnable game. They have Memphis. That's a winnable game. Then they have Houston. Oh, that's tough. Let's just chalk that one up as a loss. So now through those 9 games, you're sitting at 5-4. Okay. Can they rebound? Can they get more wins than losses the rest of the way? That's what they need. Well, after that loss against Houston, these are all projections, of course. Anything could happen. You have Indiana. Let's say that's a win. You have Charlotte. Let's say that's a win. You have Utah again. Let's say that's a win. You have the 76ers. Joel Embiid. Does he play? Does he not? Let's just chalk it up and have a little fun. Say that's a win. Then you got Brooklyn. That's a win. Indiana. That's a win. Back to Minnesota. Let's just say that one's a loss. Minnesota's good. Oh, then you got Denver. Let's just say that's a loss. Uh-oh, you lost 2 in a row. The vibes are falling apart. What do we do now? Oh, what do? We play the Brooklyn Nets. That's a win. You play the Milwaukee Bucks. That's a win. You play the Dallas Mavericks. That's a win. You play the Washington Wizards. That's a win. Ooh, look at that. I like that stretch of games. I like that stretch. Oh, then you get the LA Clippers. Oh, let's just say that's a win. You need one of those games. You got them twice there at the end. Oh, then you got New Orleans. Let's say that's a win. Denver, let's say that's a loss. San Antonio, let's say that's a loss. LA, let's just say that's a loss for the heck of it. So you split them in the last week. And then the last game of the year, you got the Sacramento Kings, who you win. You beat because they're the worst team in the Eastern Conference. So that means, including the Utah game and post All-Star break, you're roughly 18-9. That puts you in a pretty good spot. And also puts you above 500 for the year. When I say the rest of the schedule is easy, easier than it has been, I mean the schedule is far easier than it has been. Now, to the point they're made in the YouTube chat, Charlotte has been playing well as of late. Absolutely, they have. They are still an up and down team, though. They are 9-1 over their last 10. Tip of the hat, give them some credit. But it's still the Charlotte Hornets. Con Knippel's been great. Give him some praise. Absolutely love it. But you look again over those last 10 games where we just said they are 9-1. They had a game against the Wizards, one of the worst teams in the East. A game against the Grizzlies that they won, one of the worst teams in the West. The Mavericks, one of the worst teams in the West. They upset the Spurs, give them that one. Then they had the Pelicans, one of the worst teams in the West. And then they had 2 games against the Hawks, one of the worst teams in the East, or a play-in team, a team that has bounced in and out of where they are. Again, they're trying to figure out what they want to be the rest of the way. They traded the face of their franchise. Things are a little bit different for the Hawks. They've lost 3 straight. They're on the outside, or still in on the play-in, but very close to being on the outside looking in, with Chicago right there, just a game and a half behind them. Point is, those are winnable games the rest of the way. Yes, Charlotte's been great over their last 10. Been good enough to take advantage of those teams that they absolutely should beat. I would hope that as Portland gets healthy, Portland is not one of them, and Portland can take advantage. Even if you split it, you got 2 games with Charlotte. Let's say you split it just for the heck of it. That's still 17-10. 17-10 the rest of the way. 7 games above 500 for the rest of the season. Still puts you above 500 for the rest of the season. Ryan says, I love the positivity. That's a win. Hey, man. If this schedule played out the rest of the way where I thought they would lose more games than win, I would tell you. I would tell you that. Absolutely, I would. You got to take advantage of those games and beat them. As one of our texters says, beating the weaklings is not something to be excited about, but that's just me. I disagree for a reason here. And it's because losing to those weaklings over the last 2, 3, 4 years has felt like it was par for the course. Going into these situations, taking advantage and looking at a schedule and finding those gaps in it and going, oh, win, 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 feels better than looking at a gap and finding, okay, you got a 3-game stretch against the 3 worst teams in the Eastern Conference. Okay. Oh, we throw one team. Okay. You got Sacramento and then the 3 worst teams. That's a 4-game stretch against 4 of the worst teams in the NBA. I hope they go 2-2. And that's what it's felt like for the last few years with the tanking and all the injuries. So when I see a weaker schedule, and I believe wholeheartedly that a healthy Blazer team can take advantage of that schedule, I absolutely believe that to be a good thing. I believe that to be a good thing. Now, Sean says the Blazers may wind up beating themselves in games they should win. Of course, that happens. That is why these are all just little predictions. That's what happened in the first matchup with Washington. Granted, Denny was a little hurt. That back was a little tighter than he let on, but they left the door open and Washington took advantage. But that is why, again, and then I'm not getting like excited about, oh yes, they're going to go beat Brooklyn. Hang your hat on that. Championships are coming. But it is nice to look at a schedule and see teams that are below you, or teams that are definitely entering tank mode, teams that have definitely mailed it in, or teams that just aren't as good as you on paper, and look at those and actually be able to check in the win column. Portland should win that game, because over the last few seasons, it has not felt that way. Portland is, oh gosh, here we go. Worst team in the Western Conference. Portland's taking them on. Where's the coin? Let's flip it. Heads, they win. Tails, they lose. 50-50. So that is why I look at the schedule and think that that is a good thing to our texter texting in. That's the only bad part about the text line. All I get's phone numbers. I like names so I can give people credit. But thank you for the comments as always, because I recognize that by the number that you're a frequent texter. So thank you for that. Thank you for listening, and thank you for chiming in, because part of the fun here is you don't have to agree all the time. If we can have a good basketball discourse, then we're having a good night. And hopefully, as we continue to get through the season, we have more nights where we're talking about more of those victories and less of those losses. And shout out to one of my best friends on this planet, Matt Thompson, who just texted me. He's tuning in too. He said, sounding good, brother. Well, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Tell the family I say hi. This is the Fifth Quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to head to the coach's corner here from head coach Tiago Splitter. We're going to hand out a game ball, and then we're going to look ahead to tomorrow. I want to talk about this Utah Jazz team. Are they breaking the sanctity of the NBA right now, flipping it on its head, tanking like no other? We're going to talk about it when we return. But before we do, it's time for your shot of the night.
Live from the Coors Light Studios, Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment. Choose chill. Time for the Fifth Quarter shot of the night on your home of the Portland Trailblazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
Kicks it out to Kamara. Ball fake on Edwards. Gives it to Holiday in the corner. Buries the three. Back-to-back triples. And it's now 54-46. DeSuma with a wide-open transition three is no good. And Kamara grabs the board. Blazers trying to chip away. They've cut it to single digits on a 14-6 run. Grant, this time, that's good. 3 straight threes. It's a 5-point game.
Welcome back in to the fifth quarter. Time now to head to the coach's corner. Let's hear from head coach Thiago Splitter.
Could get our rhythm. I think they did a tremendous job with their defense. We just turned over the ball too much. 25 turnovers for 43 points. That's can win a game like that. And then you add to that we shot 16 free throws. They shot 35. It's really tough to overturn that.
Julius Randle with 41 points. Was part of that some maybe defensive breakdowns, or was it just a night for him?
I mean, he shot, 14 for 24. He was aggressive. He gets to the free throw line. He was just, more physical than us on both ends. And again, good game by him.
You and I had talked about Vit Krejci, and you said he's more than just a shooter, all-around great basketball player. What did you think of his night off the bench?
Well, I think he was good tonight. Made some shots, was moving the ball, drove, kicked the ball, scored 17, just one turnover. So those are the things that we're looking for. But that's not enough. One player doing the right things, We missed Danny, we missed Drew. Scoot, Scoot made shots. He still got 5 turnovers. So we got to get better. And we will. I think it was an off game for everyone. And we got to bounce back. We got another one tomorrow night. We got to be ready for that one. Got to regroup, see who's ready to play tomorrow, and go get that W.
You just somewhat mentioned it, but you guys have fared well on the second night of back-to-backs. Do you just have to have a short memory after this one, get back to work?
Yes. I think it's we got to go to Utah, do the job there, play better. I think tonight was off. Our main guys were off with the ball and making decisions, and we just got to get better. And that includes everyone. Put them in a better spot to make better decisions, and we're going to grow from this game.
Who is the MVP tonight for the Trailblazers? It's time for Game Balls on Fifth Quarter, live from the Coors Light Studios. Coors Light, choose chill.
Well, there you hear from head coach Thiago Splitter. You also hear the intro. Time now to hand out a game ball. Who gets it for the Trailblazers? I'm going to give it to Vit Krejci. 17 points, 7 to 10 from the field, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. Turned the ball over just one time. Pretty effective game. And you heard Coach talking about it there. One thing I do like about him is I think he's better than advertised on the defensive side of the ball. He's not a world beater, but he plays well on that side. Hopefully he can continue to grow into that. And what I do like about Vit is that he is shooting the ball right now, even when he's missing, like he misses the shot and you're like, oh gosh, come on, that's supposed to be your thing. Make it, which is also a weird feeling. Not really used to a guy who you can expect to hit the shot every time he takes it. You know what I mean? Like every time DC takes it, it's like, no. Oh gosh, he made it. That was pretty cool. Vit's been in a spot where, again, he misses a few shots, but he's going to get into his groove, and you trust that he'll end up making that 40% and hitting those shots like he's supposed to. Tonight, again, 3 for 6 from beyond the arc, 7 to 10 from the floor. Very, very efficient, very fluid. There's a lot to like about his game. I really do like it. What I don't like about the Blazers game is while Vit was good and only had 1 turnover, the team had 26 of them. And I looked up a quick stat here for the team. That 26 turnover performance tonight ties the Trailblazers number for most turnovers in a single game this season. They also had 26 turnovers at Memphis on the 7th of December. Now, a quick look at the numbers. The Blazers are 5-11 when they have 20 turnovers or more. When they have 22 turnovers or more, they are 0-5. Methinks turning the ball over is not a recipe for victories. Meanwhile, when they have 14 turnovers or less, they're 8-3. Who would have thought that ball control makes it easier to win basketball games? Ball control that is bad is made worse when the other team converts them, like Minnesota did. 43 points off turnovers. That was going to hurt you. Now, before we go, I said I wanted to talk about the Utah Jazz, who made some big moves here during the NBA trade deadline. They traded for Jaren Jackson Jr., and a lot of people are like, oh boy, that's a big swing. Does it fit with Walker Kessler and everything they have down there? I think he'll be just fine because he's a phenomenal basketball player. What's interesting is he's played a few games and isn't playing in the fourth quarter, and the Jazz have sat their starters in the fourth quarter the last few games, and everyone's talking about the egregiousness of the tank as if this is the first time this has ever happened. We haven't seen the Blazers sit their guys over for many games and many chunks of the season over the last few years. If you guys remember, I believe it was last season that Toronto came to town and they were in tank mode, and Scotty Barnes is absolutely tearing the Blazers apart. Had like 40 points through 3 quarters, didn't play a second in the fourth quarter. I don't like that. I thought that was an egregious use of the tank. Oh, but a coach can do whatever he wants with his team and he can run the rotation how he wants. I get that. Paying customers did get to see the good players for a little bit, but boy howdy, when you take your best players out and you literally make it easier for the other team to make a comeback or easier for the other team to win at that point, I don't like the taste of them apples. I don't like that at all. Now the Blazers get to play Utah tomorrow. Utah tonight played Sacramento, the worst team in the Western Conference. In fact, Sacramento, why do I want to say, I say like Santa Monica. They don't even have a team. Come on, Burkhardt. Sacramento 12-43 on the season. And that includes tonight, where Utah, despite what they do in the tank mode, ran away with this one 121-93. So this is the team you get to play tomorrow. Will they play all their starters for the entire game? Well, half of them even play. Maybe they sit a couple because it's a back-to-back and they just want to get to the All-Star break early. We shall see. In that game, Lauri Markkanen had 19 points. Jaren Jackson Jr. had 23, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists from Yusuf Nurkic. Isaiah Collier had 12 points. Ace Bailey had 13. Bryce Sensabaugh had 19 off of the Utah bench. The only starter to play more than 30 minutes was Ace Bailey. Everyone else was about a 26 or less. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. What will be interesting is you have one team, the Blazers, who are trying their best to cling on to a play-in. And as I mentioned, schedule does get easier. But even so, you look at the standings and it just feels like Portland is going to be a play-in team. Memphis is not good right now. Dallas is not good right now. Memphis is 2-8 in their last 10. Dallas is 2-8 in their last 10. Dallas has lost 8 in a row. They are 6 games behind the Blazers. Memphis is 3.5, 4.5 behind the Blazers, but they've lost 3 in a row. Those 2 wins that Portland had are huge, and I think they'll continue to tumble as they traded Jaren Jackson Jr., which is big, and have kind of regrouped just a little bit. And they're scheduled the rest of the way. I don't know if it's as easy as the Blazers because they still have Miami's, they have Golden States, they have Detroit, they have Denver, they have Boston, San Antonio, New York, Phoenix, Denver again. They still have Cleveland, Houston on their schedule twice. A little bit harder the rest of the way. Now they have some of those easier games mixed in. But point is, I believe Portland is going to be a play-in team. It's just a matter of getting hot, finding your groove, and figuring out what happens the rest of the way. That starts tomorrow against Utah, a team that we don't even know who they're going to play, how they're going to play them, or how many minutes they're going to play. Utah is 17-37 on the season. They have won 1 game in a row. They just beat Sacramento, who has lost 13. Woof. But they're only 2-8 in their last 10. So hopefully Portland can get a good victory tomorrow. Maybe get to a victory just like Utah did tonight against Sacramento. Rest some of those starters and then head to All-Star break and have some fun. A quick reminder that Donovan Clingan and Young Hansen will be in the Rising Stars game. Damian Lillard shocks the world. He will be participating in the 3-point contest. And then, of course, Denny Avdia makes his All-Star game debut on Sunday. That is pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. Now, quick look around the NBA, looking at some scores, because we have fully entered scoreboard watching season. You have to look at the teams around the Blazers. Clippers grab a big win tonight, 105-102 over Houston. So in the updated standings, they have jumped back to 9th. Portland has fallen to 10th. Portland is a half game behind the Clippers at this point. A couple other games that went down that may impact you. The Thunder did beat the Suns. Now, Portland didn't win tonight, but that does allow the Suns to drop a game. The Suns are currently 7th in the standings. And then Memphis falls to Denver. That one helps you because they lost. And you got Golden State going to get in action here soon. I believe they played, not get in action here soon. Final score will come up soon. They are currently beating the Spurs 76-63. And Golden State right now, 3 games ahead of LA, 3.5 games against the Blazers there in the 8th spot, which I do think the Blazers are very, very capable of getting to with the way the schedule plays out the rest of the way. So that's where we're at. Those are the scoreboard watching. That's what you need to look at to see where this goes. I like it. I like it because, ladies and gentlemen, this time last year, we were starting to scoreboard watch for Tankathon. What do the Blazers need to do? What are their odds of getting the number 1 overall pick? What is this? What is that? Now, what do the Blazers need to do to lock in a play-in spot? And I'm not out over my skis here. I understand where they're at and their chances of winning a championship and all that. But I've also been a very, very firm believer since day one with you guys that a play-in / playoff, even if they get bounced, is massively important for a young team trying to move forward. It's a fun spot to be at when we're watching those games for playoff seeding at the All-Star break. Haven't been able to do that for a while. All right, that is going to do it for the 5th quarter tonight. Once again, final score out of Minnesota. The Timberwolves 133, the Blazers 109. Losers for the boozers, as Sean says. I mean, I love how every projected first round pick, like, you end up getting like some corny name. Like, I love that. Time sag for flag, right? like, come on. Gotta lose for booze. Losers for boozers. He's gonna be really good though. He's gonna be really good. Will he be better than his dad was? Because his dad was pretty good. Speaking of movings and shakings and what you can do, yeah, Jeremy Sohan, where's he going to go? San Antonio dropped him. I didn't really see that coming. He had a good year at all. Former all rookie, but whoa, didn't really see that coming. The NBA, it's a wild place. But we got to get out of here. Quick reminder that the Blazers will be back in action tomorrow against the Utah Jazz. Final game before All-Star break. Tip-off for that game is at 6 p.m., meaning we will have Blazers game day for you starting at 4. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments. You know what to do. Get a good night rest. Get ready for tomorrow because we'll be back in action. I'll talk to you then. Thank you. Talk to you later. Yep. Copy. Yeah. All right. Radio show is done. I can go to bed or I can talk to you. Adam coming in like from the top rope at the end of the show. So it's the fun of YouTube. I can stay on and keep talking despite the fact the radio station's moved on. I keep talking to you. I'm sorry your team sucks. I know the feeling. Who's your team, Adam? Who is your team? If they are not the Trailblazers, I must know. Unless someone else said something and you're like, your team sucks. Ah! I want to know who your team is. If you know what sucking feels like. The Sacramento team, man, what a downfall. To go from ending the longest playoff drought in the NBA and vibes are high, light the beam, things are feeling good, losing 13 in a row? Woof. Yikes. I mean, that's a quick turnaround from breaking the streaks and being one of the top teams in the West to being the worst team in the Western Conference. Like, that's just weird. It's just weird. Makes you feel like you feel for him. You absolutely do. Again, going from being that good and the vibes are just immaculate to nope, you suck again. I mean, you go back, 23-24, Sacramento Kings. They were playing team. That feels good. 24-25, Sacramento Kings playing team. That feels good. 22-23, Sacramento Kings, 3rd seed in the West. So you go back just 3 seasons. There they were. 48-34. That's brutal. Brutal. As Sean says, the Kings should be better than they are. I mean, they're good. And they have Sabas. They have DeMar DeRozan, who's obviously older now. Not the same DeMar DeRozan. But it's weird that team goes out there. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, see you later. Tyrese Halliburton, see you later. They had DeMarcus Cousins for a minute. Yeah, see you later. And that was pre-injury DeMarcus Cousins. They're playing now with Russell Westbrook. I mean, good for him. I'm glad that he's finding some play. But maybe DeAndre Hunter ends up fitting in. But they got Zach LaVine, who's a good player too. I know Keegan Murray's had his ups and downs, but he's decent. They just haven't filled. They just haven't played well at all. It's just weird. It's just weird. Adam must have just chimed in and left. I didn't get an answer to who his favorite team was. If he knows the feeling, I wanted to know. I'm here. I'm here for some, like, if you're saying, doing a little trash talk, having a little fun. Come on. Can we swap Murray brothers? I'll do that any day right now, especially since one of them doesn't play. Been a long time to be out with a little bit of low back tightness, a little lumbar soreness. Keegan is interesting too. Like Keegan's good. Like I like Keegan. Feel like he's limited. They also had like just a lot of praise and a lot of hype around him after that first year. Things were looking pretty good. I mean, feel like he's plateaued just a little bit. He is what he is, but consistent right now, getting you double figures in points. He's only played 18 games this season due to injury, or 18 games started. 19 games played due to injury. But he's a 13 point per game guy. He's going to give you 5-6 rebounds, couple assists, play decent defense. I mean, he's the better Murray brother, and that's not really a bad thing. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's the facts. I mean, we all loved Robin Lopez too, but Brooke was the better Lopez brother. That's factual. He's a 36% from beyond the arc lifetime, which again, that's just 4 seasons. But Chris Murray has been up and down. Chris Murray is just weird because he has like one of the weirdest jump shots I've ever seen. Like from like the shoulders up, it's decent. It's not like Sean Marion bad. His was like, what are we doing? but like he doesn't jump. Like he has no jump in his jump shot. It's the weirdest looking thing. But he is just a career 25% 3-point shooter right now for Chris Murray. While Keegan is a career 36% shooter. So yeah, big difference. Big difference. All right, I'm going to get out of here, Sean. Thank you for staying the extra few seconds here while I was chatting. I'm always down to do that if people are still yakking and having a good time. So thank you for that. We'll be back in action tomorrow. Blazers game day at 4. Hopefully you're there. If not, I know I can count on you to be on the 5th quarter. And a quick reminder to you specifically, Sean, since you and I made the bet, the Blazers are 3-1. 3-1. Keep track of that. Lunch is still on the line. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll talk to you on the next one.